whenever I see Mike Richards' name on the guest list, docket, I'm excited. Let's bring him in from Saga 960, real news, real talk, real guy, Mike Richards. How excited are you, Michael, for the big 108th Grey Cup in Hamilton?
First of all, where the hell are you? How come you get this? What are you, a Windsor? You're one of the royal family all of a sudden?
Just lucky, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it's very similar to Hamilton, actually, this time of year. What a bit of irony. I'm very excited because I didn't even think Hamilton would be there. I grew up a Ticats fan, and looking at the almost disastrous season that they had, they were hardly healthy at any given point. They had an offensive line that was just looking at the defensive line and saying, "Hey, do you want to hit this guy? You want to hit him? Because you can hit him on this play."
That's right.
It just really seemed like they were unsure. There wasn't continuity. I looked at the play calling offensively, and I really don't. Just a team that at some point I wasn't sure if they would show up. And of course, Dane Evans not really playing all that much due to injury and whatever else was going on there. So the fact that they got it together, typically for Toronto, right in time for Toronto to kind of break their hearts and have a big play on special teams and then end up winning and going to the Grey Cup and then hosting it in their own backyard is honestly something I didn't see happening. But Rod, as you know, it's a CFL. Almost anything can happen. Just wait 5 minutes. I mean, for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the only team that was going to stop them was the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and they almost did that. They came close.
Yeah, 1.3 million tuned in for that West final game, close to a million for the East final game. And let me backtrack for a sec. This Toronto-Hamilton, the fan thing and the players involved after the game has gone eerily quiet, which I think is not necessarily a good thing because I think a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. When you've seen the video and so forth, Mike, just as a Southern Ontario guy, what does that make you feel? Because it's kind of gross. What did you think when you saw that?
Well, whenever I see fan interaction, it's always gross, Rod. I mean, I just, it just means you have no respect for the professional athletes on the field. You got no respect for humanity. The moment you feel you can throw something or spit on somebody, the moment you think that's okay, I've never understood it. If I was beside a guy who was doing that, I really seriously would grab him by the collar. Like, I don't have a problem doing stuff like that because it would get ugly. But that guy never would have made it to the side of the field to spit on a guy. And if he did, I'd bring him down. I would. I honestly would. I cannot handle these athletes out there who are giving it all. And if you've ever been on the sidelines watching a football game, if you've seen it up close, when you see what they have to go through to actually get there, and then some dick is going to sit there and spit or throw or chuck something on there, I have no feelings for them, literally. So if a player got overly rambunctious and wanted to just, knee the guy in the ribs, I got no problem with it because the guy's a knob. And it's sickening to think, again, that there's individuals who think it's funny. I mean, explain it to me. What was to be gained by that? Are you showing off in front of your loser friends who probably date their own moms? I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I've never understood it.
No, me either. And by the way, we've already given it probably more time than we should, but these aren't fans. I shouldn't have even said a Ticat fan. You're an idiot. Go celebrate with your own team at their locker room. What are you going to the opposition locker room for, to rub it in their face? It's just stupid. But to happier times, news release came out Sunday night from the CFL that the 108th Grey Cup is sold out. They've actually added room in the end zones. You probably saw that, Mike, because the Ticats are in it. So what do you expect Sunday for an atmosphere in Tim Hortons Field and so forth, and for the game itself?
It will be excellent. I mean, this will be outstanding. The Steel Town, when they are engaged, it's a very good CFL town. You can't say that a whole bunch about those of them in the East, but Hamilton is very different. It is culturally. I mean, if you've been there for anything in the last 50 years, like the buses are gold and black. Most of the stuff is painted gold and black. There's still a hardcore and a love for this city. There's a love for Bob Young, the caretaker, and what he's done for this team. Orlando, for as long as he's going to be there. I'm kind of afraid what's going to happen in the offseason, but a player's coach, a people's coach, and they will be energized because, again, I think they felt the way that a lot of Ticat fans did, which is, I don't know if they're going to be there or not. I didn't know if they'd make it. Now that they do, you're probably going to see Dane, which is the guy that you should be watching if you're a Ticat fan. Look, it's the CFL, and I've seen odd games where the team coming into it who shouldn't or didn't belong there looked like it was going to be a blowout. It wasn't. I go back to a Ticat team, actually, that went to in BC Place against the Edmonton Eskimos. So that's the Tracy Ham, Damon Allen, and Matt Dunnigan, I guess, was the guy on that team. And they went in there, was it 86? And they didn't belong there. 85? They didn't belong there. And they just went absolutely bananas. And the only thing I said that I would, because Winnipeg is the best team in the league. Winnipeg's been the most consistent. They've been the best coached. They on all sides of the ball, both the defensive side, the offensive line. They really are the best team in the league. But now it's going to come to a one-off, and we've seen this before in the league. It's going to depend on, quite frankly, the composure of the teams that are there and the energy, because football's a spiritual game. So if you're Hamilton, all of a sudden it's a home game. So I expect this thing to be close. Obviously, I still believe that Winnipeg is the better team, but Hamilton has that weird, coming out of the clouds, the blue collar, steel town, and then, a lot of the fans that will show up. I mean, they've been going for decades. If there's a Grey Cup where the underdog is going to have an upset, and I'm looking at it from a gambling perspective as well, you might take the points. I think they bet it down to 4, but if you're going to get plus 4.5, I think you got to take the Cats.
Mike, you get a twinkle in your eye when you talk about the CFL and this Grey Cup match. You love it.
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. My family, my dad was taught by Ivor Wynn. He said nothing makes you feel older than going into a stadium that has the name of it. So Tim Hortons Field, even though it's new, it's still same old Hamilton. It's just it's a whole family thing for us. I will not be there in Hamilton because I had not made plans for it. But you can bet that it's going to be a beauty. All the events will be sold out. The Box J boys will be on a roll. The Bomber fans are great fans. Look, this is the matchup of what people thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. It just didn't play out during the year like that was going to happen. Winnipeg, yes. Hamilton, no.
Well, I don't want to let you go. I guess just one last one. All year I had going into the year, I'd picked Saskatchewan, Hamilton, and then it became very evident that Winnipeg was the best team in the West. I think a rematch of the last Grey Cup is a pretty good storyline. Don't you think?
I think it's a very good storyline. And look, if you want to learn anything about football, if you watch that horrible game last night in Buffalo. Now, there's going to be a lot of things said about it. I mean, Mac Jones threw 3 passes. I mean, the reason that it works, and they work, is they simply have the mad genius as the coach, the hoodie, who I don't like at all. I mean, I don't see anyone have more lack for humanity than that knob. But the fact is, he just outcoached Buffalo. I don't know what the coaching staff was thinking. But when you can run the ball, 46 times for 222 yards, he just really, and this is really the God's honest truth about the hoodie, he just needs one more point than you. And if he thinks he can keep the ball for the entire game and win by 1 point, then that's how he's going to win. When I look at this Grey Cup, when I look at what you need to do, depending on what the field's going to be like, you might want to take a look at game planning, because that's what won it for the Patriots. That's why the Patriots are going to go on. I think Buffalo's in a huge amount of trouble because they're not playing playoff type football. So in this game coming up for the Grey Cup, who is going to prepare their team the best? Coach, look, Orlando on one side, Coach O'Shea on the other. I mean, they're 2 great guys, two outstanding individuals. But it's going to come down to the details. And you know what? It won't surprise me, again, if it comes down to special teams. And the Hamilton kicking game isn't something I brag about. I just think it is going to come down to, a 3-point game. But it's coming down to game planning. If it gets a little nasty, if it's a little cold, is someone going to say, well, at some point we got to either pound the ball, or the plays that we got to run have to be smart enough. They're sure enough they're going to dink and dunk. Are you going to run bubble screens? Are you going to run, what exactly is it that you're running that is going to work on a day that's a one-off and a cold day? Because last night told you everything. Good coaching still counts.
Yeah, no kidding. Mike, you're looking great. Wonderful Grey Cup preview. Enjoy the game, my friend. Good seeing you.
And did you ever say where you are? What are you, relocation? Sort of?
No,
did you do something bad?
I'm in South Florida, Boca Raton, Florida. Ever heard of it?
The poor people haven't, no, I don't know what
Exactly. That's where I am. Thanks, Michael.
Take care, guys.
The great raw Mike Richards joining us from Saga 960 Mississauga. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching the RP Show on YouTube. And don't forget, we're live daily on YouTube from noon to 2 Eastern. If you like what you see, hit subscribe. And if you like the program, check around for other segments of The Rod Pedersen Show here on YouTube.